5th year of King Jehoiakim's exile, a prophet named Ezekiel found himself among the exiles by the Shebar Canal. It was here, in this place of desolation and despair, that the heavens themselves opened up to him. A startling vision unfolded, a divine revelation that would mark Ezekiel forever. A dramatic display of divine presence. I looked, and behold, a stormy wind came out of the north, and a great cloud with brightness around it, and fire flashing forth continually, and in the midst of the fire as it were gleaming metal. Ezekiel 1:4. The whirlwind and the living creatures set the setting with a bright light around the throne, and something like gleaming amber in the midst of the fire. This was no ordinary storm. It was a dramatic display of divine presence, a symbol of God's power, purity, judgment. Then came the living creatures. These 4 living creatures are most likely the cherubs that appear depicted in the 10th chapter in the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel observes, and from the midst of it came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had a human likeness, but each had 4 faces, and each of them had 4 wings. 4 in number may represent 4 corners of the earth by which God is sovereign over, implying that God's angels execute his commands everywhere. Each one had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their faces represented a man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle, symbols of intelligence, strength, servitude, and sovereignty. These creatures moved with purpose, not just aimlessly wandering, but following the Spirit, serving as a testament to the divine will that guided them. Ezekiel states, "And they went everyone straight forward. Whither the Spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went." Ezekiel 1:12. Next in this series of visions was the complex symbolism of wheels within wheels. These were not just simple wheels. They were full of eyes all around, signifying a divine omniscience, an all-seeing, all-knowing God. Ezekiel describes their appearance in verse 18, where he says, "As for their rims, they were so high they were awesome, and their rims were full of eyes, all around the 4 of them." The wheel was considered by Ezekiel to be gigantic and immense in size. The wheels moved in conjunction with the living creatures, indicating that God's presence is not bound by earthly limitations. It is everywhere, orchestrating the universe in perfect harmony. Above the living creatures was an expanse, shining like awe-inspiring crystal. The expanse led to the climax of the vision, a throne made of sapphire, and on the throne, a figure. The figure was like a man, but it was more than a man. Here, Ezekiel sees the manifestation of that of a sovereign all-power presence. When Ezekiel sees the movement in heaven of the creatures, he depicts the all-powerful noise that sounded like many rushing waters. He also hears a great voice that comes from above them. It was a portrayal of God's transcendent majesty and immanence, a divine presence that genuinely exceeds human comprehension. Yet Ezekiel can only describe the glory in the simplest of terms. Ezekiel begins to describe the majesty as follows. "And upward from what had the appearance of his waist, I saw as it were gleaming metal, like the appearance of fire enclosed all around. And downward from what had the appearance of his waist I saw, as it were the appearance of fire, and there was brightness around him." Ezekiel 1:27. This was the illuminated power of the Lord, depicted with radiant glory. The depiction, being similar to that of which Daniel saw in Daniel chapter 7, is the figure of the Ancient of Days, or in other words, that which has existed and was never created. The presence that Ezekiel saw is a reminder covenant promise, a testament to his enduring presence. This vision marked the beginning of Ezekiel's prophetic mission. It was a profound encounter with the divine, a glimpse into the heart of God's majesty and holiness. In chapter 2 and 3, following, Ezekiel hears the voice of Majesty speak to him. Ezekiel is told to take a scroll and eat the words of God. He eats the scroll that tastes like honey, but the words to follow from his mouth are going to be of harsh judgment on his kinsmen, Israel, who have been rebellious against God. Ezekiel's vision serves as a timeless reminder that even in the midst of desolation and despair, God's presence endures with his people. His glory shines forth, and his promises remain steadfast, forgiving, and patient. In this moment, pause and reflect on the majesty, the holiness, and the enduring presence of God. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.